Okay, so I've found there's a slight error in some of the locations. Some of it seems to be regarding the scrap wood. I got a comma in the wrong place. Why can't I scroll? Oh, that's because it's all the way down. So if we go back to this one here, because I know that this lot works, and I'll be able to show you guys how I can find that something is not right in the game. So that's where we left off. So that one there. So apparently there's something wrong between this and another 800 lines of code. So let's see if we can find it before we do it. So there is something in the wrong place. I just don't know where and what. So let's have a small peek. Don't see, that one is in the right place. So hard to see sometimes which one's wrong. Okay, there's something wrong here. So we've got, I'm pretty sure it's this one that's wrong. Got quantity 1, craft 2, item, ingredients. There's nothing there. So what is that one supposed to be? 1, 2, 10. 1, 2, 10. Apparently that is right. Okay, it's going to be one of those pain in the rear ends to try and find it. Well, all we can do is do it bit by bit. What I'll do is I'll do a redo of everything so you guys can see what happens when it's wrong. So if we go to play, I've got a test world up and running. So it's midnight and the time is not moving. So there's something wrong in that code that I was editing right there. So I'm just going to quickly go through it all bit by bit and pull out any errors that may come across.
It's all about humanity.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. I'm your host, 2005 Guy02. Okay, so what you can see on the screen currently is me going through the codes on 2 of the files. They're both backups just to be on the safe side, because I don't want to change the initial file and then be completely screwed if there's an error. And there was an error. I got a comma in the wrong place on a couple of the codes. And as you can see, I accidentally put a copy of the one that I didn't want to put in there. So I just removed the code from the. I wanted to recycle the wiring tools, but I couldn't get it to actually recycle the wiring tools. I could get it to see it, but I couldn't get it to actually recycle it back into scrap metal. So on the right side, we've got the Craftbot recipe code, which is the one that we're currently sorting out, and the one on the left is what each item is. Now later on, I'll do the find and replace bit to make it a little bit easier to basically change the the bits down the sides so that they all read right, because as you can see at the moment, I have to do change all the double, I think it's called double colon, into a comma, because of the first line where it says item code, item ID, and then a whole string of hexadecimal code. It's got a comma behind it. And of course on this one over here on the left, it's got the double colon icon. And so I had to change all that. And then of course it's got the comma on the back, which we didn't want on the back of the code itself. On the description. So I changed all that, pardon me, and then proceeded to change the bits in the craftbox code so that we could actually see what each item was. And of course that way we can find out which item is not currently in the craftbot. So if we wanted to add that item at a later date, we now can. So I basically systematically went through all of it. I did wind up with a couple of commas in the wrong place, hence why that little clip at the start actually showing you guys what actually happens if there is an error in the code. So for example, if you download a mod from the workshop and override your existing files, if you're stuck at midnight and the time isn't moving, then it means that there is an error in one of the coding bits, or at least one of the bits that you've changed with the mod. So if you suspect the mod that it's not working, it's because well, the only way to actually see it is if it's still stuck on midnight and nothing's actually working. So we're currently going through all the bits and pieces, changing the top line where it says item. We have to make sure it still says that item, but it has the 2 forward slashes and then the actual description behind it. So we're currently doing that so that it makes it a lot easier just to see which item is which. So if we wanted, let's say, increase the item requirements, which I will be doing later on, because who the heck would we want to? Well, who would use scrap metal to make a plastic bucket? And there is a item in the left side code that says plastic. So at some point after the next episode, maybe, because it took about 2.5 hours, well, 2 hours to change the code so that I could see which one it was. And then it took an additional half an hour-ish, maybe a little bit more, to correct that little problem, because I had to find which area it was that I screwed up on, and apparently it turned out to be the scrap word. I put a comma in the scrap word resource requirement instead of where the ID is. So I had a comma in there that shouldn't have been in there at all, and that was screwing it up. And I found it out later, and I did the slow way of correcting it, of going through every single piece of code just to find out what the heck is wrong with it. So it was a little bit of a nightmare. I hope that this has taught you guys a little bit, and if you guys want a copy of this modified cleaned up file, because I found a couple bits were moved. I don't know if it was intentionally by the devs to screw everyone up if they decided to change it, or if it was something else. He can see me basically starting again from scratch because I thought I screwed up. So once again I restarted, and this happened quite a few times because I just couldn't get my head around some of the bits and pieces, and it took a little while to figure it all out. But in the end we got there, and as you can see, this is a lot faster method to do it. But do have to watch out by doing it this way, because like I said, that the ones that says the item requirement, that one does not. You don't want a comma behind the actual item, unless somebody, one of the devs, put the quantity of it below it instead of above it. Then you have to have the comma behind the item code, which also almost screwed me up when I basically sorted out the code. So I will leave you guys with me editing it, and I'll increase the speed even faster, and then we can have some better music behind it. Okay, so I shall. Hope that you guys enjoy this this clip, and I hope that it helps you guys if you want to mod the game for yourselves, add items, which we will be doing it at a later date as well. I'm not going to use this method to cheat. I just want to, because I've seen a couple of mods out there where somebody's gone, oh, let's just put all the items in it that you have to whack the all the bots with, all the bots to get them. But I don't want to go down that route. It makes it too boring, and not to mention it's cheating. Because yes, I did see that they removed a lot of the console commands in the game as well. And yes, you could use a mod to get around those problems with console commands. But like I said, I don't want to cheat. I just want to make things a bit more sensible. So if you've got a plastic bucket, you are not going to make it out of scrap metal. You're going to make the plastic first, then you're going to make the plastic bucket. So after the next episode, where we finally make our car and make it to a drivable standard, even though it's still griefing me quite a bit, it just takes off by itself for some reason, and yeah, have fun chasing after it. So yeah, all those controllers are a bit of a pain in the rear end. Before I forget, I also added one additional item already, and that's a level 5 controller, because during the gameplay, basically increasing the controller type from 1 to 5 in game, we found out that it requires 20 components. So I basically added the tier 5 controller to the Craftbolt code and added the 20 components required to make it. Like I said, I'm not going to cheat. I just want to do it so that's a lot easier, a lot faster, and we don't have to go through too much grief. So once I've figured out how many bits go in the pistons and everything else to upgrade them, then we can do it that way as well. Because that way you can see how many components you need to carry on, to upgrade the item in question beforehand. So if you want to upgrade it to level 5, you've got the option to either craft it in Craftbot now, or go, okay, I need to get that many bits together, and then I can upgrade them later and know exactly how many we need. So I will leave you guys with the rest of this video on changing the code and finding the errors, or seeing me put the errors in accidentally, which I think we've already been there. And I hope that you guys enjoy the video. I hope that you've learned something about it. The coding side of things, I know I have learned a little bit about it now. And hope that you guys enjoy the next couple of episodes after it. Okay, so I've found there's a slight error in some of the locations. Some of it seems to be regarding the scrap, but I got a comma in the wrong place. Why can't I scroll? Oh, that's because it's all the way down. So if we go back to this one here, because I know that this lot works, and I'll be able to show you guys how I can find that something is not right in the game. So that's where we left off. So that one there. So apparently there's something wrong between this and another 800 lines of code. So let's see if we can find it before we do it. So there is something in the wrong place. I just don't know where and what. So let's have a small peek. Don't see, that one is in the right place. So hard to see sometimes which one's wrong. Okay, there's something wrong here. So we've got, I'm pretty sure it's this one that's wrong. Got quantity 1, craft 2, item, ingredients. There's nothing there. So what is that one supposed to be? 1, 2, 10. 1, 2, 10. Apparently that is right. Okay, it's going to be one of those pain in the rear ends to try and find it. Well, all we can do is do it bit by bit. What I'll do is I'll do a redo of everything so you guys can see what happens when it's wrong. So we've got to play. I've got a test world up and running. So it's midnight and the time is not moving. So there's something wrong in that code that I was editing right there. So I'm just going to quickly go through it all bit by bit and pull out any errors that may come across. And then if anyone wants a copy of the modifications, let me know and we can see if we can sort something out. So apparently I can't figure out how to upload it as a mod. Granted, it's not working at the moment, so I need to sort that one out. And then once it's all up and running properly, we can even add stuff to it if we really want to go down that road. But yeah, it's a nightmare at the moment.